The Acts of the Apostles, chapter 24. And after 5 days, Ananias, the high priest, this is just the second guy in like 4 chapters. Well, in Acts, it's more than 4. Named Ananias. And the first one was bad, and this one is also not sounding too good. He descended with the elders. Where did he descend from? Goodness, that's already sounding bad. Acting like he's coming from on high, huh? And with a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. And when he was called forth, Tertullus began to accuse him, saying, "Seeing that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation by thy providence, we accept it always and in all places, most notable Felix, with all thankfulness." Oh, this is going to be a problem, because here's the governor, and the governor was the one that set him free out of prison, and they hunted him down again, and now he's back in front of the governor. Now we'll see what he does. Remember the last time something similar to this happened? When they brought Paul and Sosthenes, what's his name? Sosthenes. And they just said, Paul doesn't belong here, but you need to be beat. So let's see if he does it again. Notwithstanding that I be not further tedious unto thee, I pray thee that thou wouldest hear us of thy clemency a few words, for we have found this man a pestilent fellow. Oh, he's a pest. And a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes, who also hath gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our law. Well, what are you going to do? You can't kill him. You're going to broker it out? Is that what your law tells you to do? But the chief captain Lysias came upon us, and with great violence took him away out of our hands. That's right. You know why? He was under the orders of this same guy you're talking to, Felix. Felix told him to send Lysias and get him out. And with great violence took him out of our hands, commanding his accusers to come unto thee, by examining of whom thyself mayest take knowledge of all these things whereof we accuse him. And the Jews also assented, saying that these things were so. Then Paul, after that the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered. Okay, they're at the court. They're at the council now. They're not being taken. He's not being taken to another jail. That's the defendant. This idiot Ananias is the defendant. Then Paul, after that the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered, "For as much as I know that thou hast been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself, because that thou mayest understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem for to worship, and they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogues, nor in the city, neither can they prove the things whereof they now accuse me. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. And herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense toward God and toward men. Now after many years I come to bring alms to my nation and offerings, Whereupon certain Jews from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with multitude nor with tumult, who ought to have been here before thee, and object if they had aught against me. Who ought to have been here before thee, and object if they had aught against me. Okay, so he's admitting he ran into some Jews from Asia. That's a problem. And there was no problem. And he's saying, where are these witnesses if they're the ones talking? Because they didn't have a problem then. Or else let these same here say, if they have found any evil doing in me, while I stood before the council, except it be for this one voice that I cried standing among them, touching the resurrection of the dead, I am called in question by you this day. And when Felix heard these things, having more perfect knowledge of that way, he deferred them, and said, when Lysias the chief captain shall come down, I will know the uttermost of your matter. And he commanded a centurion to keep Paul, and to let him have liberty, and that he should forbid none of his acquaintance to minister or come unto him. And after certain days, when Felix came with his wife Drusilla, which was a Jewess, he sent for Paul, and he heard him concerning the faith in Christ. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled, and answered, go thy way, for this time. When I have a convenient season, I will call for thee. He's fearful, this Felix. He hoped also that money should have been given him of Paul, that he might loose him, wherefore he sent for him the oftener, and communed with him. An oftener? What's that? But after 2 years, Porcius Festus came into Felix's room, and Felix, willing to shew the Jews a pleasure, left Paul bound. Yeah, he was scared. Felix, 2 years later, I guess he'd leave him be for 2 years. And then in 2 years, there was another Roman that came to Felix, and he did that. To help the Jews. He must have been Jewish. Porcius Festus. Doesn't that sound Roman though? Maybe he's a Roman Jew. I don't know. I don't know how that happens, but they kind of, everything's mixed up. Like, people, they say you're Jews, you're Romans, it's not like that though. It can't possibly be like that. People are intermarrying like all the time. They're gonna be teaching their children like half this and half that. I don't even know how the Jews did. They didn't. That was the first thing Esau did, was go and marry another out of the Jew pool, you know. He went and married, he married a few bad wives. And that's just Esau. And we all know what Solomon did. And anytime you do that, the children are going to come out that's why God said don't do that. So I really don't understand how the Romans and the Jews, like, who is this Porcius Festus? Is he just a Roman that hates Jews, and so he's leaving Paul bound to show off? Or is this a Jew Roman? But the point is that people are probably kind of mixed up. Especially since you have to figure that if the high priests do not know their own law to the point that, well, just to make sure, like, they should have went through every word of that, and they would have found that it says that the Messiah will have no broken bones, right? And so if they had any sense in their head, right, and wanted to just try to make it not so, they would have broken his bones. And he couldn't have been the Messiah, right? And they could have argued about that. But they didn't. And so I'm confused. Like, so if they don't know it, then who does? Nobody. And so people are just kind of going around with, like, remnant, like, mystical religion combined with some law, combined with, like, other idolatries, combined with, I think that's what's happening. But this guy Felix appeared to have kept he staved away murder twice from him, at least. So that's good. But third time was not a charm, and he has now kept him bound. So we'll see what happens after that. He's probably going to die pretty soon, because there are 4 chapters left. This guy helped. This guy Felix, the governor, he helped hide him and keep him safe, and now he's helped him go. He said he's going to call for him when he figures it out. He let him go for 2 years, but at the very end here, he is bound again.